Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making a batch of little zipper bags. These bags can be used for anything, but these, I'm not sure. I just had all this material and I needed to use up all these zippers. So this is what I'm doing. They're just plain little zipper bags with a side pocket and a wristlet strap. I'm making these up to give away for Easter to the kiddos. So I've got these made already, and I'm going to take you with me while I prep and make another one. This is the stack I have to get through today, but I won't make you go through it with me, each one. I'll just do one. So let's do the green one here. It's a simple little pattern. I got it off of YouTube. This is the wristlet strap. It starts out as a 3-inch. Yeah, a 3-inch by 3-inch by 14-inch, and I folded it in half and then folded each side to the center, and that makes a 1/2-inch wristlet strap. Now I'm going to sew down both sides. And there we have a wristlet strap. So we're going to set this to the side. Now we've got to prep our pocket. I keep my little iron handy. So on the pocket, I'm going to sew just the top together at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, now I'm going to press that seam open. And then I'm going to press it together. I press it open first because it seems like it helps it lay together better. Together better? Is that a word? Okay. Now, we need to sew around the sides of our pocket just to sew them together, so it makes it easier to sew onto the front of the bag. Yep. I just realized I skipped a step. should top stitch the top of the pocket first and then sew around it. So do as I say, not as I do. Okay, so we got it top stitched and we got it sewed together. Now we're ready to put it on the front of our bag. And these little bags, I'm just going to eyeball it. I've been making so many of them. I can eyeball it. And there's the front of our bag, front of our pouch. So we're going to set this aside and work on our zipper tabs. So we have our zipper and we need to sew on our tabs. So slow over the zipper. So we're sewing these on at 1/4 of an inch, and then we're going to fold them over and top stitch on the front. Okay, get the other end on. And top stitch that end. Okay, so we've got these sewed on and top stitched. Now we need to trim off the excess on the sides. And I'm trimming over my trash can so it don't go on the floor. So our zipper is ready. Now we need to mark the center of our zipper. And I like to do it on both sides, front and back. Now we get the front of our bag and we've notched the center. So we match the centers up and we want the zipper closing to the left. And the zipper has a flat part in the back and a little pointed part in the front. Whichever way that pointed part is going, that's how the zipper is going to close. See, it opens if it goes back, forward if it closes. So you want the zipper to close toward the left of the bag, so that's where we need to sew it down at. Okay, we should go ahead and get the lining piece. There's the front, so we need the lining piece. So let's go ahead and attach it and sew it all at once. Okay, now we're going to sew it at 3/8 of an inch. And got to move that zipper pull out of the way. Uh-oh, I ran out of bobbin. I did not know I was out of bobbin thread. Good thing I have one here. Oh, so hard to get these bobbins off of this bobbin winder. Okay, let's go ahead and get another bobbin set up to wind. Alrighty, we're back in business. Now, where did I get to? I didn't get very far. I didn't even notice that. See if I can do it without pinning it. Yep. Alrighty. Now let's cut off these. Let's cut off these ears that we don't need from the zipper tabs. Okay, now we're going to pull it out, and we're only going to top stitch on the front, not the lining. So we're going to do a top stitch on the front, keeping our lining out of the way. We're top stitching on the front. there's our top stitch. Here's what it looks like on the back. So the zipper, the lining seam is laying toward the exterior piece. Okay, now we got to put the other side on. This little iron is so handy. When I'm working with cotton, I like to press as I go. Now we need, I didn't get the center on this one. Now we need to put our, now we need our outside piece. The outside piece has a bird on it. That's pretty. Okay. Never fails when I'm trying to videotape. My dog's got to go out there and start barking. And we are sandwiching the zipper between the outer fabric and the lining. And now we're going to sew that at a 3/8 inch. Yep, we got to pull our zipper out of the way. If we don't pull the zipper head out of the way, we'll hit it with the needle. Okay, and like we did before, we take and we're going to top stitch only on the outside panel. Oh wait, here's the outside. No, this is the outside. See, we're going to top stitch here all the way down. It looks like I caught some fabric in my stitching there. Okay, there we go. Okay, now we're ready to sew on our wristlet strap. And the wristlet strap needs to go wherever the zipper, on the side the zipper closes. So the zipper's closing here, wristlet strap will go there. So I'm going to put it on and give it a stitch to hold it on. I'll sew it together. And cut off the excess. Okay, now we're going to sew the outside. and the inside together, but we want to open our zipper halfway because we're going to turn it through the zipper. And we're going to fold it where the zipper tab right there is toward the lining. And that's why we didn't top stitch the lining, because it would be hard to do that if the lining was top stitched together with the exterior. Okay. And the lining. Now the lining, we're not going to sew all the way around. We're going to leave a little bit of the bottom open so we can turn it through the bottom. So on the lining, we're gonna sew it together except for the very bottom, and I'm leaving this much open so I can get my hand through there and turn it inside out. So let's get it done. Okay, why is thread stuck there? And on the lining, I add a little bit to the seam allowance so the lining will sit snug inside the bag. Except when I get up to the very top. And I'll go back to the 3/8 inch. So 3/8 inch at the very top. Then when I get to the exterior portion, I sew a 3/8 inch all the way around. Okay, now I'm back at the lining, so I'm going to increase the seam allowance just a little bit so it'll fit snug. Now before I turn it, I'm going to where the zipper ends are, I'm going to trim it so it'll be won't be so much in the seam there to turn, because that's pretty thick there with all those layers. Okay. Now I'm going to take my zigzag scissors and I'm going to trim around the whole thing, especially the corners. And trimming it like that with the zigzag scissors or pinking shears, especially in these little cotton pouches like this, when you turn it inside out, it helps the fabric ease into a curve a lot better. So now it's time to turn it. So I'm turning it through the zipper opening. And I'm going to put my hand in there and smooth out that exterior and get the corners turned. Now we need to poke out the zipper tab. And we like our zipper tabs laying flat as we can get them. Sometimes you have to take a little poker and get them to turn out. And the other side. Okay, there's our zipper tab. Now we need to let's give the bottom a press to make sure we got it before we close up that hole in the lining. See? So now let's get the lining, close up that hole. So if you take your fingers and put on each side of that hole and pull it taut, you won't need to clip it, or I don't. And there is the bottom sewed up. Now we're going to poke the bottom inside the bag and smooth out the corners. Now let's give it a good press. And there we have our bag. We have our slip pocket, beautiful bird on the back, and we have and the inside that sits very nice. Not sure you can see it. So I have about 12 more of these to make. So thanks for watching, and be sure and like and subscribe, and check out pricklypearpeggy.com to see what else I'm up to. Thanks for watching. Bye.